Hello everybody, it's Marty McConnell, the Off-Grid Gecko. Today I need to build some bee boxes so I can complete my hive setups. And I know some of you might be interested in this sort of thing, so I figured I'd share with you. So there are two ways to do this. You can do it from scratch, or you can buy these pre-made kits that are pretty much ready to assemble. The kind that I buy have these little holes drilled in the little slots here so that you can drive a nail right through without any problem and it'll go in straight. So it's helpful, and they have little cutouts on each side for handholds. If you want to do it yourself, you can. The important thing is getting the dimensions right. So this is an 8-frame super that I built, and plan on doing more of these as I have time, because lumber is way cheaper than buying these pre-assembled. It just takes a little bit of time and some power tools to get it straight, but essentially you want a recessed area. So what I did here was basically just cut smaller boards for the front and the back to where there'd be a drop, and then I measured out my dimensions very carefully to mimic like a typical store-bought box, because spacing is very important. And then I covered the top and the bottom with little thin slats like this that double as handholds, but they also have a way to seal up the box on top and bottom, and you can still get your frames in here, and they're sort of recessed down in there. So clever little way to put a box together if you want to do it yourself versus messing with this stuff for a little bit extra money. These are fairly easy to do. There's bees buzzing around me while I'm working, so I'm like, what are you doing? So really only the important things to note are that the handholds go on the outside of the box, obviously. The long sides are parallel, and the tops, if you can't tell by the handhold, have these little shorter stubs on the sides. So this one goes like this. And then these guys will have a slot cut along the top, and that's for the frames to sit on, like a little ledge. And so the first thing I try to do is dry fit these together, because sometimes the way they're cut, they're mass produced, and sometimes stuff just doesn't line up properly, where it fits a little too tight, and I go in with my pocket knife and the mallet and recut these slots when they don't fit together right. This one so far seems to be fitting together just fine. Okay, so everything fits together, snug as a bug. That's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all the way down on the inside where these parts are touching together. And for glue, I'm going to be using Type Bond 3 today. You just want some kind of exterior wood glue that will, that's, not going to fall apart if it gets rained on, because these are going to be outside. Just put a little glop of glue in there and smear it around. And the bees are all super curious right now. I don't know what their deal is. Just slap those kind of together like that. Kind of square it up as much as you can. You can square it up again after you get the sides all glued, but I'm going to take a single nail and put it in the middle here somewhere. I've got glue going everywhere. Kind of square it up. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Pop a nail in each one, and then I will kind of true it up a little bit and finish it off. Always make sure you got the tops facing the same direction before you start putting this together. May save you some headaches in the long run. It actually looks pretty square. Now you can get out a square and level bubble and all that stuff if you want this perfect, but truth of the matter is, as long as it's square enough, I don't think it really matters that much. If you're doing the homemade variety, it's probably a little more important to make sure that they're square. These are usually pretty good about squaring themselves up on assembly. And often the best way to clamp them is to put a nail in on the side where it's lifting up, push down on it, then go back and secure the other ones. If you have an air nailer and a air compressor, this probably go a lot faster. I'm just using these short little 6-penny nails because that's what I have laying around and they work well enough. Sometimes you'll notice these little cracks form in here on these narrow parts. That's just the wood and the size and the shape of it is kind of conducive to that. Plus, these guys are probably overly dry from being in a air-conditioned environment. So it's no big deal. When the bees move in, they'll go ahead and seal up anything that needs to be sealed, and the paint is probably going to cover up most of this stuff also and seep in there and seal it. So there we go. She's ready to paint, and I'm ready to get started on another one. This one's going to be an 8-frame super. Also wanted to get another 8-frame deep, but like I said, I was picking out of the bottom of the barrel just to get these. So wipe up any excess glue, and then I'm just going to spray a coat of Krylon on the outside of this guy in white. This board's warped. That sucks. And leave these guys to dry. So until I actually get my bees this year over there, I don't need to worry about this. I'm just making sure that I have enough boxes ahead of time. That way, when I start with the beekeeping thing, essentially by the time bees move in, or by the time I get my my package of Russian bees, then I should have enough of this equipment built up to build 3 full hives, basically. And that's kind of what I want starting off into the year. So always something to do, and staying ahead on these guys is something that I need to do because I want bees this year, and I'm going through great pain and expense to make sure that I do everything I can to raise them. So thanks for watching. If you want to, go ahead and hit that little button to subscribe and watch some of my other videos and kind of help the channel out a little bit. And if not, I'm sure you'll find me again in the future if you're into off-grid stuff, because I'm going to be doing a lot of it. So stay tuned, and I will see you later. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in a comment below, and I will answer them. Still see some of the wood showing through. I'm not going to put on another coat of paint, so I basically just drained a whole can to cover that. Probably more than good enough to protect it. I'm just going to let it dry out in here, and then we'll move it out into the apiary when it's dry.